On a winter morning, a school bus stopped at a quiet railroad crossing. Snow was falling, and a thick fog covered the tracks like a white wall. The driver looked left, then right, but the world beyond the windshield was just silence and snow. Everything looked empty, so the bus slowly moved forward. Far down the tracks, hidden inside the fog, a train was already moving fast, its horn echoing through the cold air, but no one on the bus could see it yet. What happened that day changed the rules forever. Today, every time a bus reaches railroad tracks, it stops and opens its doors. But why would opening a door make any difference? One of the strangest things on the road happens at railroad crossings, and most people have seen it many times but never really questioned it. When you are driving behind a school bus and it reaches the tracks, the bus slows down, stops completely, and then opens its doors even when no train is visible. The cars behind the bus have to wait, and sometimes drivers feel confused because the road looks empty and nothing appears to be happening at all. From the outside, the situation looks unnecessary and even a little strange because opening a door does not seem related to traffic safety or normal road behavior. Regular cars do not open doors at railroad crossings, and most trucks simply slow down, check the signals, and continue driving without stopping for long. Only school buses and trucks carrying dangerous materials follow this very specific rule, which suggests the reason behind it must be serious and important. When certain rules apply only to special vehicles, it usually means those rules were created after something dangerous happened in the past. Most strange rules on the road are not random. They usually exist because something bad happened before. Before the 1930s, school buses did not open their doors at railroad crossings, and the safety procedure was much simpler than what drivers follow today. Drivers were required to slow down, stop the vehicle, and look in both directions along the tracks before crossing, which seemed like a reasonable safety method. If the driver could not see a train, then it was assumed that the crossing was clear and safe, and the bus could continue moving forward. However, several transportation reports and historical articles later explained that this system depended entirely on visibility, which is not always reliable in real conditions. In fog, heavy rain, snowstorms, or areas where trees and buildings block the view, a driver may not see far enough down the tracks to notice danger. Another important issue mentioned in safety investigations was that trains are extremely heavy and cannot stop quickly like cars or buses on a road. A freight train moving at highway speed may need more than a mile to come to a complete stop, which means once the engineer sees a vehicle, it is often too late. Transportation safety articles often mention that this combination of poor visibility and long stopping distance created many dangerous situations across the country. And then one tragic accident in the late 1930s changed transportation safety rules forever. That accident didn't just change one town, it changed the rules for every school bus in America. In December of 1938, during a heavy snowstorm in Utah, a school bus approached a railroad crossing just like it had many times before. The driver stopped the bus, looked both directions, and saw nothing because snow and fog had reduced visibility almost completely that morning. According to reports from survivors and later investigations, the driver believed the tracks were clear and slowly began to move across the rails. At the same time, a freight train was approaching the crossing, but the weather conditions made it almost impossible to see until it was very close. The train was also running later than expected and moving faster than usual to recover lost time, which made the situation even more dangerous. Within seconds, the train crashed into the side of the bus, and the accident became one of the most tragic transportation disasters in American history. After investigators studied the accident carefully, they discovered something very important that changed safety thinking forever. The driver had stopped and looked exactly as the law required, but looking alone was not enough because the weather prevented him from seeing the train. The real problem was not vision, the real problem was sound. Engineers realized that if the driver had opened the bus door and window, he might have heard the train horn or engine noise earlier. From that point on, railroad crossings were no longer just about seeing. They were about using every sense to survive. After that accident, new safety rules were created for railroad crossings in the United States. Today, these rules are written in federal law under Regulation 49 CFR, Section 392.10. When the bus approaches the tracks, the driver turns on the hazard lights to warn vehicles behind that the bus is about to stop. The driver then brings the bus to a full stop between 15 and 50 feet before the tracks, which provides enough space to react if necessary. Once the bus is stopped, the driver turns off anything that might create noise inside the vehicle, including the radio, fans, or ventilation systems. After that, the driver opens the service door and sometimes the driver's side window so outside sounds can be heard more clearly. The driver then looks in both directions along the tracks and listens carefully for horns, engines, or vibrations that might signal an approaching train. Even though modern railroad crossings often have flashing lights, bells, gates, and electronic sensors, these systems are not perfect and can sometimes fail. Because of that, safety experts believe that human attention should always be the final safety layer in any transportation system. Another reason buses must follow stricter rules than cars is related to how large vehicles move and react in dangerous situations. A school bus is heavy, accelerates slowly, and cannot turn or escape quickly if something goes wrong on the tracks. So what looks like a simple stop is actually part of a much bigger safety philosophy. Many traffic laws and safety rules exist because of accidents that happened in the past, and those accidents taught people how to prevent future tragedies. Engineers often say that safety rules are written in blood, which means many regulations were created only after someone was hurt or killed. While that idea sounds dark, it explains why some rules seem strange but are actually very important for protecting people every day. Mirrors in elevators, stones along railway tracks, extra wheels on trucks, and shark fin antennas on cars all exist because someone solved a problem in the past. The world around us is full of small design decisions that quietly protect us every day, even when we do not notice them. Whenever you see a school bus stop at railroad tracks and open its doors, you will know that it is not a strange habit or an outdated rule. It is a safety practice created from real history, real accidents, and real lessons that people learned the hard way. What looks like a small action on the road is actually part of a system designed to protect lives every single day. Many things in our daily life look normal, but behind them there is often a story, a problem, and a solution that most people never see. And once you start noticing these small details, the world around you begins to look very different.